Nathan Parker sat in the corner booth of Betty's diner, staring at the untouched coffee growing cold in front of him. Rain hammered against the windows, each drop seeming to echo the emptiness that had become his constant companion. 3 years. 3 years since the accident that took Rebecca and their unborn son. 3 years of existing in a world that felt increasingly hollow despite his wealth and success. He came here every Tuesday and Thursday night to this same booth, ordering the same meal he never quite finished. The diner was bright and clean with white walls and cheerful red vinyl seats, but Nathan felt like he was sitting in his own private darkness. Tonight felt different though. Heavier. More suffocating. The bell above the door chimed. Nathan glanced up out of habit, expecting to see old Mr. Wilson coming in for his nightly pie. Instead he saw a young woman and a small child. The woman was beautiful, African American, with warm brown skin and tired eyes that held a depth of worry he recognized. She wore a thin blue jacket over a green dress that had seen better days. Her daughter, no more than 5, clung to her mother's hand, shivering in a red sweater that was too small for her. They stood just inside the doorway, dripping rainwater onto the checkered floor. The mother looked around the diner with an expression Nathan had seen before in business meetings when someone was calculating their options and coming up short. The little girl pressed closer to her mother's leg, and Nathan heard her small voice drift across the quiet diner. "Mama, my tummy hurts." The woman bent down, smoothing her daughter's wet braids with a tenderness that made Nathan's chest ache. "I know, baby. Just a little while longer. We'll figure something out." Betty, the owner, appeared from the kitchen, wiping her hands on her apron. She was a kind woman in her 60s who knew every regular by name. "Evening, honey. Just you and your little one tonight?" The mother straightened, and Nathan saw her shoulders square with forced confidence. "Actually, we were hoping we could just sit for a bit. Get out of the rain. We won't be any trouble." Betty's face softened. "Sweetheart, nobody sits in my diner without eating. House rules." "We don't have money right now," the woman said quietly, and Nathan heard the shame in her voice that she was trying to hide from her daughter. "I start a new job next week, but right now we're just trying to stay dry. Please. Just for a little while." The little girl looked up at her mother, then at Betty, then her eyes found Nathan across the diner. She had large, expressive eyes that seemed too old for her young face. In that moment, Nathan made a decision that would change everything. He stood up, his tall frame unfolding from the booth. Both women turned to look at him. He was dressed casually in dark slacks and a blue button-down shirt, but even in casual clothes, there was something about Nathan that spoke of means. Maybe it was the expensive watch or the way he carried himself, or simply the fact that he'd been sitting alone in a diner for hours without concern for the cost. "Excuse me," he said, his voice gentle. "I couldn't help but overhear. Would you and your daughter like to join me? I have this entire booth to myself and honestly, I'd appreciate the company." The woman's eyes widened. "Oh, we couldn't impose." "You wouldn't be," Nathan said. He looked down at the little girl who was watching him with curious eyes. "What's your name?" "Bella," the child said softly. "That's a beautiful name." "I'm Nathan." He looked back at the mother. "Please. I insist. Betty makes the best chicken soup in the city, and her grilled cheese sandwiches are perfect for rainy nights." The mother hesitated, and Nathan could see the pride warring with necessity in her expression. Her daughter tugged on her hand. "Mama, I'm really hungry." That was all it took. The woman's shoulders sagged slightly and she nodded. "Okay, thank you. That's very kind." "Not kind," Nathan said as they walked over to his booth. "Just human." They slid into the booth across from him. Up close, Nathan could see the exhaustion in the woman's face, the way her hands trembled slightly as she helped her daughter out of her wet jacket. But there was strength there too, in the set of her jaw and the protective way she positioned herself between her child and the world. "I'm Tasha," she said. "Tasha Brooks. And this is Bella, like she said. Nathan Parker. It's nice to meet you both." He caught Betty's eye and waved her over. "Betty, could we get 2 bowls of your chicken soup, 2 grilled cheese sandwiches, and—" He looked at Bella. "Do you like chocolate milk?" Bella's eyes lit up and she nodded eagerly. 2 chocolate milks then. And keep my coffee coming." Betty smiled warmly. "Coming right up, honey." As Betty walked away, an awkward silence settled over the table. Tasha looked down at her hands and Nathan could sense her discomfort. He understood it. Pride was a difficult thing to swallow, especially when circumstances forced your hand. "So," Nathan said, keeping his voice light, "what brings you two out on a night like this?" Tasha met his eyes and he saw the debate happening behind them. How much to share? How much to trust? Finally she spoke. We've been staying at the women's shelter on 5th Street. They close the common areas at 8 and everyone has to go to their rooms. Bella gets restless and the room is small, so sometimes we just walk. She paused. I didn't realize it would rain this hard. Nathan nodded. The weather report said it would clear up by 7. They were wrong. They usually are, Tasha said, and there was a hint of humor in her voice that made Nathan smile. Bella had been quiet, but now she spoke up. Mama says we're having an adventure. Is that right? Nathan asked. We had an apartment, but the man said we had to leave because Mama lost her job at the store. So now we're on an adventure until Mama finds a new job. Tasha's face flushed. Bella, honey, maybe Mr. Nathan doesn't want to hear about all that. Actually, I do, Nathan said gently. He looked at Tasha. If you don't mind sharing. Tasha was quiet for a moment, then the words started to flow. Maybe it was the exhaustion or the kindness in Nathan's eyes, or simply the relief of sitting down in a warm, bright place after weeks of uncertainty. Whatever it was, she told him. She'd been working as a sales associate at a department store downtown. Good job, decent pay, enough to afford a small apartment for her and Bella. Then the store downsized and she was let go. With no savings to fall back on and no family in the city, she'd fallen behind on rent. The eviction had been swift and merciless. The shelter had been their only option. I've been applying everywhere, Tasha said. But most places want you to start immediately, and I can't do that until I have childcare sorted out. And I can't afford childcare until I have a job. It's this loop I can't seem to break out of. Nathan listened, his expression thoughtful. He'd built an empire from almost nothing, but he'd never experienced the kind of catch-22 Tasha was describing. He'd always had education, connections, opportunities. Looking at this woman and her daughter, he realized how much of success was simply the luck of circumstance. Betty arrived with their food and Bella's face transformed. The worry and tiredness melted away as she looked at the steaming bowl of soup and the perfectly golden grilled cheese sandwich. Tasha's eyes grew glassy. Thank you, she whispered, and Nathan wasn't sure if she was talking to him or Betty or perhaps some higher power. Eat, he said simply. They did. Nathan watched as Bella carefully spooned soup into her mouth, trying not to spill. Tasha cut her daughter's sandwich into small pieces, making sure she ate slowly so she wouldn't get sick. Only after Bella had eaten half her meal did Tasha take her first bite, and Nathan saw the relief on her face as warm food filled her stomach. They talked as they ate. Tasha told him about Bella's love of coloring books and how smart she was. Bella told him about her favorite color, purple, and her dream of having a pet cat. Nathan found himself relaxing in a way he hadn't in years, the conversation flowing naturally despite their different circumstances. When the meal was finished, Betty brought over pie for dessert. On the house, she said with a wink. Bella ate her pie with enthusiasm while Tasha protested weakly. You've already done too much. Nonsense, Betty said. It's just pie. But it wasn't just pie. It was warmth and kindness and the feeling of being seen as human rather than invisible. Tasha's eyes shone with unshed tears. As the evening wore on, Nathan found himself not wanting it to end. For the first time in 3 years he felt something other than grief. He felt useful. He felt connected. He felt almost alive again. What time does the shelter curfew end? He asked. We need to be back by 10, Tasha said, glancing at the clock. It was 9:30. Nathan made a decision. Before you go, can I ask you something? Tasha nodded, curious. What kind of work were you looking for? What are your skills? Tasha looked surprised by the question. I've done retail, customer service, some administrative work. I'm good with computers, organized. Why? Nathan pulled out his phone. I own a technology company. Parker Technologies. We're always looking for good people. He looked at her seriously. I'd like to offer you a job. Tasha's mouth opened, then closed. Bella looked between them, sensing something important was happening. I don't understand, Tasha finally said. Have you ever watched someone's life change in a single moment? Have you ever seen hope return to someone's eyes after they'd given up? If this story is touching your heart, please take a moment to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. Your engagement helps stories like this reach others who might need a reminder that kindness still exists in the world. What would you do if you were Nathan? Would you help a stranger? The diner felt different suddenly. The bright fluorescent lights seemed softer, the rain against the windows more like music than noise. Tasha sat frozen, her hands flat on the table, staring at Nathan as if he'd just spoken in a foreign language. A job? She repeated slowly. You're offering me a job? Yes, Nathan said. He kept his voice calm and businesslike, understanding that too much emotion might make her feel like charity. We have an opening in our administrative department. It's entry level, but the pay is competitive and there are benefits. Health insurance, childcare assistance, paid time off. Tasha shook her head slightly. I don't understand. You don't know me. You don't know anything about me except what I just told you. Why would you offer me a job? Nathan had asked himself the same question the moment the words left his mouth. The logical part of his brain, the part that had built a multimillion-dollar company through careful decisions and calculated risks, was screaming at him. You don't hire people off the street. You don't make business decisions based on emotion. But there was another part of him, the part that had been dormant since Rebecca died, that was wide awake and insistent. This was right. This was what he was supposed to do. I believe in gut instinct, Nathan said. You're clearly intelligent, well-spoken, and responsible. You've kept your daughter safe and cared for even in impossible circumstances. Those are exactly the qualities I look for in employees. Bella tugged on her mother's sleeve. Mama, what's happening? Tasha looked down at her daughter, then back at Nathan. This is too generous. I can't just accept a job from someone I met an hour ago. Why not? Nathan asked. The question seemed to stump her. Tasha opened her mouth, closed it, then laughed a little. I don't know. Feels too easy. Like there must be a catch. No catch, Nathan said. He pulled out his wallet and extracted a business card, sliding it across the table. This has my direct office number and email. The job is real. The offer is genuine. You can start Monday if you'd like. We'll provide the first week as paid training. Tasha picked up the card, turning it over in her fingers. The embossed letters spelled out his name and title. Nathan Parker, CEO, Parker Technologies. Her eyes widened slightly as the reality of who he was sank in. You're the Nathan Parker. I've seen your company in the news. You're one of the biggest tech firms in the state. Nathan nodded. We do well. And you're seriously offering me, someone you met in a diner who's literally homeless right now, a job at your company? Yes. Why? Nathan thought about how to answer. He could tell her about the emptiness he'd been feeling, about how helping her made him feel human again for the first time in years. But that would be putting his needs on her, making his generosity about him rather than her. Because everyone deserves a chance, he said simply. And because I can. I have resources, opportunities. Why wouldn't I share them with someone who needs them? Tasha's eyes filled with tears. She blinked them back quickly, not wanting to cry in front of Bella. I don't know what to say. Say yes, Nathan said. Please. Tasha looked at her daughter, who was watching her with those big, trusting eyes. She thought about the shelter, about the endless job applications that went nowhere, about the fear that kept her awake at night wondering how she would provide for her child. And she thought about pride, about how pride was a luxury she couldn't afford. Yes, she said quietly. Then louder with more confidence. Yes, I accept. Thank you. Thank you so much. Nathan smiled, and it was the first genuine smile that had crossed his face in months. You're welcome. Now we need to sort out some logistics. Where are you staying tonight? The shelter, Tasha said. We have a room there. And after tonight? Tasha hesitated. We can stay at the shelter for 30 days. After that, they'll help us find transitional housing if we haven't found something permanent. Nathan frowned. That's not going to work. You can't commute from the shelter to my office. It's on the other side of the city. He pulled out his phone and started typing. I own several rental properties. One of them is a 2-bedroom apartment about 10 minutes from the office. The previous tenant just moved out last week, and it's been cleaned and furnished. You and Bella can stay there. Tasha's mouth dropped open. Mr. Parker, I can't. That's too much. It's Nathan, please. And yes, you can. Consider it part of your employment package. We'll deduct a reasonable amount from your paycheck each month for rent, something you can actually afford. Does that work? Tasha felt like she was dreaming. Jobs didn't just fall into people's laps. Apartments didn't just appear out of nowhere. Good things didn't happen to her, not like this, not all at once. But Bella was tugging on her hand again, excitement in her voice. Mama, does this mean we get our own place again? With our own bathroom? The pure joy in her daughter's voice made Tasha's decision simple. She could worry about the details later. Right now, her daughter needed stability. She needed safety. She needed a home. Yes, baby, Tasha said, pulling Bella close. We're going to have our own place. She looked at Nathan. I accept. All of it. The job, the apartment. I'll work hard, I promise. I'll earn every bit of this. I know you will, Nathan said. He made a few more calls, speaking in quick, efficient tones. Within 15 minutes, he'd arranged for the apartment to be open that night, had groceries delivered, and had scheduled a car to pick them up from the shelter. Tasha listened to him work, amazed at how quickly things could change when someone had resources and the will to use them. She'd spent weeks trying to claw her way out of homelessness, filling out application after application, making call after call. And here was this man, this stranger, solving her problems with a few phone calls. "The car will be at the shelter in 45 minutes, Nathan said. "That gives you time to get your things together. Here's the address of the apartment." He wrote it down on a napkin. "The building manager will meet you there with keys. There's food in the fridge, linens on the beds, everything you need." "I don't know how to thank you," Tasha said. "You already did. You said yes." Nathan stood up, pulling cash from his wallet and leaving it on the table for Betty. "Come on. I'll drive you back to the shelter so you can get your things." "You don't have to do that," Tasha protested. "I know. But I want to. Besides, it's still pouring rain and you don't have an umbrella." Tasha gathered Bella's jacket and her own thin coat. Betty came over to say goodbye, pressing a bag of leftover pie into Tasha's hands. "For later," she said with a warm smile. Outside, the rain had softened to a drizzle. Nathan's car was parked nearby, a sleek sedan that probably cost more than Tasha had earned in 2 years at the department store. He opened the back door for Bella, making sure she was buckled in safely, then held the passenger door for Tasha. The car was warm and dry, a stark contrast to the cold, wet world outside. Soft music played from the speakers. Bella pressed her face to the window, watching the city lights blur past. "This is the nicest car I've ever been in," Bella said. Nathan glanced at her in the rearview mirror. "You know what? It's just a car. What matters is the people inside it." They drove through the rain-slicked streets, past closed shops and glowing windows. Tasha watched Nathan's profile as he drove, noting the slight relaxation in his shoulders, the way some of the tension had left his face. He'd seemed so sad when they first saw him in the diner, sitting alone in that booth. Now he seemed lighter somehow. "Can I ask you something?" Tasha said quietly. "Of course. Why were you sitting alone in that diner tonight? A man like you, with your success, surely you have family, friends, somewhere better to be?" Nathan was quiet for a moment. "My wife died 3 years ago. Car accident. She was pregnant with our son." He said it matter-of-factly, but Tasha could hear the pain underneath. "I go to that diner because it's bright and full of people, but I don't have to talk to anyone. I can be alone without being lonely. Or at least, that's what I tell myself." "I'm sorry," Tasha said. "I shouldn't have asked." "No, it's okay. It's good to talk about it, actually. Most people avoid the subject, like grief is contagious." He glanced at her. "What about Bella's father?" Tasha's jaw tightened. "He left when I was 5 months pregnant. Said he wasn't ready to be a father. I haven't heard from him since." "His loss," Nathan said firmly. "Bella is wonderful." "She is. She's my whole world." They arrived at the shelter, a plain concrete building with a bright sign that read Safe Harbor Women's Shelter. Nathan parked but didn't turn off the car. "Take your time gathering your things," he said. "I'll wait here." Tasha and Bella hurried inside, and Tasha quickly packed their few belongings into 2 garbage bags. It didn't take long. They didn't have much. A change of clothes each, some toiletries, Bella's coloring books and crayons, a few photos Tasha had managed to save from the eviction. As they came back outside, Tasha saw Nathan standing in the drizzle, talking on his phone. He looked up when he saw them and ended his call. "All set?" he asked. "This is everything," Tasha said, holding up the bags. Nathan took them from her without comment and placed them in the trunk. Soon they were driving again, this time to their new home. The apartment building was in a nice neighborhood, with well-lit streets and neat landscaping. The building manager, an older woman named Mrs. Chen, was waiting for them in the lobby. "Mr. Parker called ahead," she said warmly. "Welcome to Riverside Apartments. Let me show you to your unit." They took the elevator to the 3rd floor. Mrs. Chen opened the door to apartment 3B, and Tasha stepped inside, hardly believing her eyes. It was beautiful. A cozy living room with a comfortable couch and television. A small but modern kitchen. 2 bedrooms, each with a real bed and dresser. A bathroom with a tub. Everything was clean and fresh, ready for them to move in. Bella ran from room to room, squealing with delight. "Mama, I have my own room. My own bed." Tasha covered her mouth with her hand, tears streaming down her face. She'd been so strong for so long, holding it together through the job loss and eviction and shelter. But now, standing in this apartment that was theirs, she let herself cry. Nathan stood awkwardly near the door, giving her space but clearly concerned. Is everything okay? If you don't like it, we can find something else. No, Tasha managed to say through her tears. It's perfect. It's more than perfect. I can't believe this is real. It's real, Nathan said gently. You and Bella are safe now. You have a home, a job, a fresh start. Tasha wiped her eyes and walked over to him. Nathan Parker, you are the most generous, kindest person I have ever met. I will never forget what you've done for us tonight. Never. Nathan felt something shift in his chest, something that had been frozen for 3 years. Thank you for letting me help. For saying yes instead of no. You've given me something too. What's that? A reason to care again. The weekend passed in a blur of overwhelming gratitude and nervous anticipation. Tasha and Bella spent Saturday and Sunday exploring their new apartment, unpacking their meager belongings, and marveling at having their own space again. The refrigerator Nathan had stocked held more food than they'd seen in weeks. Fresh fruit, vegetables, milk, eggs, bread, real butter. Bella had nearly cried when she saw the box of strawberries. Sunday evening, after Bella had gone to bed in her own room with her own door that closed, Tasha sat on the couch and let reality sink in. In less than 48 hours, her entire life had changed. She had a home. She had a job starting tomorrow. She had hope. She pulled out the business card Nathan had given her, running her thumb over the raised letters. Part of her still expected to wake up and find it had all been a dream. But the card was real, solid in her hand. And tomorrow morning at 8, she would walk into Parker Technologies and begin her new job. Tasha barely slept that night. She was up at 5:30, choosing her outfit carefully. She'd bought a nice maroon blouse and gray slacks from a thrift store on Saturday, using money she'd saved from odd jobs. It wasn't much, but it was professional. She pressed the clothes carefully, wanting to make a good first impression. At 6:30, she woke Bella and got her ready for the day. Mrs. Chen had recommended a daycare center 2 blocks away that had immediate openings. Nathan had already called ahead and arranged for Bella's enrollment, including paying the first month in advance. Another gift Tasha had accepted with gratitude, promising herself she would pay him back once she got her first paycheck. The daycare was bright and cheerful, with murals on the walls and toys scattered around. The teacher, Miss Rodriguez, was a young woman with a warm smile who immediately put Bella at ease. We're going to have so much fun today, Miss Rodriguez said, crouching down to Bella's level. Do you like to color? Bella nodded shyly. Good, because we have lots of coloring books. And after snack time we're going to read stories. Do you like stories? I love stories, Bella said, her excitement overcoming her nervousness. Tasha kissed her daughter goodbye, fighting the urge to cry. Be good, baby. Mama will pick you up at 5. Okay, Mama. Have a good day at your new job. Parker Technologies was housed in a modern glass building downtown. Tasha stood outside for a moment, looking up at the gleaming structure. She took a deep breath, squared her shoulders and walked through the revolving doors. The lobby was spacious and bright, with marble floors and contemporary art on the walls. A receptionist sat at a curved desk near the center. Good morning, Tasha said, trying to sound confident. I'm Tasha Brooks. It's my first day. The receptionist, a friendly-looking woman in her 50s, smiled. Oh yes, Mr. Parker told us to expect you. Welcome to Parker Technologies. I'm Helen. She came around the desk and shook Tasha's hand. Let me take you up to HR. They'll get you all set up with paperwork and then introduce you to your department. Helen led her to the elevator and up to the 10th floor. The offices were modern and open, with lots of natural light and employees working at tidy desks. Everyone seemed focused but not stressed, and Tasha noticed several people chatting and laughing near a coffee station. The HR department was at the end of the hall. A young man in a blue shirt greeted her warmly. You must be Tasha. I'm Jeremy Wu, HR manager. Welcome aboard. He led her into a small conference room where a stack of papers waited. I know first day paperwork is boring, but we'll get through it quickly. Then I'll introduce you to Grace Kim, who'll be your direct supervisor. Tasha filled out forms, provided her information for direct deposit, and signed acknowledgments of company policies. Jeremy explained the benefits package, which was far more generous than anything she'd had before. Health insurance that covered both her and Bella. Dental. Vision. A retirement plan with company matching. 2 weeks of paid vacation in the first year. This is incredible, Tasha said, looking at the benefits summary. Mr. Parker believes in taking care of his employees, Jeremy said. He says that when people feel valued and secure, they do their best work. After the paperwork was complete, Jeremy walked her to the administrative department on the 11th floor. A woman in her 40s with kind eyes and a neat blue dress approached them. "Tasha, this is Grace Kim, our administrative manager," Jeremy said. Grace extended her hand with a genuine smile. "Welcome, Tasha. We're happy to have you." "Jeremy, I'll take it from here." Jeremy left and Grace showed Tasha to her desk. It was positioned near a window with a view of the city. The desk had a computer, phone, and neatly organized supplies. "This will be your workspace," Grace said. "You'll be handling general administrative tasks. Filing, data entry, scheduling meetings, answering phones. Nothing too complicated, and I'll be here to help you learn our systems." Over the next few hours, Grace patiently showed Tasha how everything worked. The computer system, the phone lines, the filing protocols. Tasha absorbed everything quickly, grateful for her previous office experience. Around 10:30, someone stopped by her desk. A man in his 30s with friendly eyes and an easy smile. "Hi, I'm Timothy Johnson. I work in IT down the hall. Heard we had a new team member." "Tasha Brooks," she said, shaking his hand. "If you have any computer problems, just give me a call. Extension 4455. I'll have you up and running in no time." "Thank you. I appreciate that." Timothy lingered for a moment. "Hey, a few of us usually grab lunch from the cafeteria on the second floor. You're welcome to join us if you'd like. It's nice to get to know people outside of work mode." "That sounds great," Tasha said, touched by the invitation. At lunch, Tasha sat with Timothy, Grace, and two other employees, Angela Price from accounting and James Cole from marketing. They were all welcoming, asking about her but not prying too much. Tasha mentioned she had a 5-year-old daughter, and Angela immediately started sharing stories about her own kids. "There's a great elementary school about 6 blocks from here," Angela said. "When Bella's ready for kindergarten next year, you should check it out. My twins went there and it was wonderful." Tasha's throat tightened at the casual way Angela talked about next year, as if Tasha and Bella would still be here, stable and settled. It felt almost too good to be true. Around 2, Tasha saw Nathan walk through the department. He was in a gray suit, looking every bit the CO, but when he saw her, his face softened into a smile. "Ms. Brooks," he said professionally. "How's your first day going?" "Very well, Mr. Parker," Tasha replied, matching his formal tone but letting her eyes show her gratitude. "Everyone has been very welcoming." "Good. Grace, you're taking good care of our new team member?" "Absolutely," Grace said. "Tasha's picking everything up quickly. She'll be fully up to speed by the end of the week." Nathan nodded, satisfied. "Excellent." He looked at Tasha again. "If you need anything, my door is always open." "Thank you, sir." After he walked away, Grace gave Tasha an appraising look. "Mr. Parker doesn't usually check in on new administrative hires personally. You must have made quite an impression during your interview." Tasha felt heat rise in her cheeks. "He's just being kind." "He's being something," Grace said with a knowing smile. "But don't worry, your secret's safe with me. However you got here, you're proving you deserve to be here. That's what matters." The afternoon passed quickly. By 5, Tasha was exhausted but satisfied. She'd completed all the tasks Grace had given her, learned the major systems, and felt confident she could handle the job. She hurried to pick up Bella from daycare. Her daughter ran to her, chattering excitedly about her day. "Mama, we painted pictures and had crackers and cheese, and Miss Rodriguez read us a story about a bunny." "That sounds wonderful, baby." They walked back to their apartment in the evening light. The city felt different now, less threatening. Tasha had a place here. She belonged. That night, after dinner and Bella's bath and bedtime story, Tasha sat on the couch and let herself relax. Her phone buzzed with a text message. It was from Nathan. "Hope your first day went well. You're doing great. Get some rest." Tasha smiled and typed back. "Thank you for everything. I won't let you down." His response came quickly. "You couldn't if you tried. Sleep well, Tasha." She held the phone to her chest, feeling something warm and unfamiliar stirring in her heart. Gratitude, yes, but something else too. Something she wasn't quite ready to name yet. 2 weeks passed in a comfortable rhythm. Tasha settled into her job with increasing confidence, mastering the administrative tasks and even suggesting improvements to some of the filing systems. Grace praised her initiative, and other departments started requesting her help with projects. Bella thrived at daycare, making friends and coming home each day with new artwork to hang on the refrigerator. The apartment felt more like home every day. Tasha bought a few decorations from discount stores, adding personal touches that made the space theirs. Nathan checked in regularly, always professional in the office but occasionally texting in the evenings to ask how they were settling in. Tasha found herself looking forward to these messages, to the easy conversation that had started that rainy night in the diner. One Thursday afternoon, Tasha was organizing files when Nathan appeared at her desk. "Miss Brooks, do you have a moment?" "Of course, Mr. Parker." He gestured for her to follow him and they walked to his office on the top floor. The space was impressive but not ostentatious, with floor-to-ceiling windows offering a panoramic view of the city. "Please sit," Nathan said, closing the door behind them. Tasha sat in one of the leather chairs facing his desk, her heart beating faster. Was something wrong? Had she made a mistake? Nathan sat across from her, his expression serious. "I wanted to talk to you about your performance. Grace has given me glowing reports. You've exceeded expectations in every way." Tasha relaxed slightly. "Thank you. I've been trying my best. It shows." Which brings me to my next point. There's an opening for a senior administrative coordinator. It's a step up from your current position with more responsibility and better pay. I'd like to offer it to you. Tasha's eyes widened. "But I've only been here 2 weeks. And in those 2 weeks, you've shown more capability than people who've been here for months. The position is yours if you want it." Tasha thought about refusing, about saying it was too soon, that she hadn't earned it yet. But then she thought about Bella, about the larger paycheck that would let her save money and plan for the future. She thought about Nathan's words from that first night. "Everyone deserves a chance." "I accept," she said firmly. "Thank you. I won't disappoint you." "You haven't yet," Nathan said with a smile. "Now there's something else I wanted to discuss. How would you and Bella like to have dinner with me this Saturday? Nothing fancy, just pizza and maybe a movie at my place." Tasha hesitated. This felt different from their previous interactions. More personal. "Is this about work?" "No," Nathan admitted. "This is about friendship. You and Bella have brought something back into my life that I thought was gone forever. Joy, I guess. Purpose. I enjoy spending time with you both and I'd like to do more of that. If you're comfortable with it." Tasha studied his face. She saw no hidden agenda, no expectation beyond what he'd stated. Just honest longing for connection. And she realized she wanted the same thing. Nathan had become more than just her employer. He'd become a friend. "Bella would love that," Tasha said. "And so would I." Nathan's smile was genuine and warm. "Great. I'll text you the address. Say 6 o'clock? We'll be there." Saturday arrived bright and sunny. Tasha dressed Bella in her favorite red dress, and she wore a simple green blouse and jeans. Nathan's penthouse was in an upscale building downtown, but when he opened the door he was dressed casually in jeans and a navy polo shirt. "Welcome," he said, ushering them inside. The penthouse was spacious but surprisingly cozy. Comfortable furniture, warm lighting, photos on the walls. Tasha noticed pictures of a smiling woman with dark hair. Rebecca, she assumed. Bella ran straight to the windows. "Wow, you can see everything from up here." Nathan laughed. "Pretty cool view, right? Come on, I have something to show you." He led them to a room that had been set up like a playroom. There were toys, books, art supplies, all brand new. "I hope this is okay," Nathan said, suddenly looking uncertain. "I wasn't sure what 5-year-olds like, so I got a variety." Bella's eyes were huge. "Is this all for me?" "If you want it," Nathan said. "You can play here whenever you visit." "Can I play now?" Bella asked Tasha. "Go ahead, baby." Bella dove into the toys with enthusiasm, and Nathan led Tasha back to the living room. They sat on the couch and he poured them both iced tea. "You didn't have to do all that," Tasha said quietly. "I wanted to. It's been a long time since this place felt alive. Having you both here, it's nice." They talked easily, the conversation flowing naturally. Nathan told her about building his company, about the challenges and rewards. Tasha told him about her childhood in Atlanta, about her mother Dorothy who still lived there. "Does your mother know about your situation?" Nathan asked. Tasha shook her head. "I didn't want to worry her. She's on a fixed income, can't help financially. I kept telling her everything was fine." "You should call her," Nathan said. "Tell her the truth now. Tell her things are better. I bet she'd like to hear your voice." Tasha's eyes prickled with tears. "You're right. I will." The pizza arrived and they ate together, Bella chattering about her new toys. After dinner, Nathan put on an animated movie and they all settled on the couch to watch. Halfway through, Bella climbed onto Nathan's lap and fell asleep. Tasha looked at them, this man and her daughter, and felt her heart swell with emotion. Nathan looked down at Bella, then at Tasha, and something passed between them. Understanding. Connection. The beginning of something neither of them was quite ready to name. She's wonderful, Nathan whispered. She likes you, Tasha whispered back. I like her too. And I like her mother. The words hung in the air, weighted with meaning. Tasha felt her breath catch. This was dangerous territory. Nathan was her boss, her benefactor. Getting involved with him would complicate everything. But as she looked at his face, at the genuine affection in his eyes, she realized it was already complicated. She cared about him. More than was probably wise. I like you too, she said softly. Nathan smiled, and they sat there in comfortable silence, watching the movie end with Bella sleeping peacefully between them. For the first time in years, Nathan's penthouse felt like a home. And for the first time since her eviction, Tasha felt like she had more than just shelter. She had a future. She had hope. She had the beginning of something beautiful. Over the following weeks, Nathan became a regular presence in Tasha and Bella's lives. He took them to the zoo on a sunny Saturday, where Bella squealed with delight at the elephants and monkeys. He treated them to lunch at family restaurants where Bella could color on the paper tablecloths. He showed up at their apartment with board games and taught Bella how to play. At work, Nathan remained professional, but his eyes would find Tasha across rooms, and small smiles would pass between them. Their co-workers noticed but said nothing, perhaps sensing that whatever was developing between them was pure and good. One evening, after Nathan had read Bella 3 bedtime stories and she'd finally fallen asleep, he and Tasha sat on the small balcony of her apartment. The city stretched out below them, lights twinkling in the darkness. Can I tell you something? Nathan asked, his voice quiet. Of course. 3 years ago, after Rebecca died, I thought my life was over. Not literally but emotionally. I thought I'd never feel anything again except grief and regret. He turned to look at her. You and Bella changed that. You brought light back into my life. Tasha reached out and took his hand. You saved us, Nathan. We were drowning and you threw us a lifeline. No, Nathan said firmly. You were already saving yourselves. You were doing everything right, you just needed some support. I'm grateful I could be that support. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, hands clasped, until Tasha spoke again. Tell me about Rebecca. If you want to. Nathan smiled, a bittersweet expression. She was a teacher. 2nd grade. She loved kids, loved learning, loved life. We met at a charity event and she had no idea who I was or how much money I had. She was just herself, completely unimpressed by wealth or status. That's what I loved about her. She sounds wonderful. She was. We were trying for a baby for 2 years. When she finally got pregnant, we were overjoyed. We'd already picked out names, painted the nursery. His voice caught. And then one night, a drunk driver ran a red light. She was coming home from a prenatal appointment. I got the call at work. Tasha squeezed his hand. I'm so sorry. The first year was the worst. I thought about giving up on everything. But Rebecca wouldn't have wanted that. She believed in making the world better and helping people. So I kept going, kept building the company, kept existing. But I wasn't living. Not until I met you. Tasha felt tears on her cheeks. Nathan, You don't have to say anything. I just wanted you to know. You and Bella, you've given me a reason to wake up excited about the day ahead. That's a gift I can never repay. You've given us the same gift, Tasha said. Bella hasn't stopped smiling since that night in the diner. She feels safe again. Well, and so do I. Nathan leaned closer. Tasha, I care about you. More than as a friend. More than as an employer. I know it's complicated and I know it's soon, but I needed you to know. Tasha's heart raced. She'd been trying not to acknowledge her own growing feelings, afraid of what they meant. But sitting here with Nathan, their hands clasped, the truth was undeniable. I care about you too, she admitted. But Nathan, you've given me so much already. My job, my home. I don't want you to think I'm with you because of those things. I don't think that. I could never think that. You're one of the most honest, genuine people I've ever met. My life was falling apart when we met. You stepped in and fixed everything. How do I know these feelings aren't just gratitude? Nathan thought about this. Time, I guess. We don't have to rush anything. We can take this slow, see where it goes naturally. All I know is that I want to spend time with you, get to know you better, be part of your life. Is that okay? Tasha nodded, feeling relief and joy in equal measure. That's more than okay. They sat together under the stars, planning outings for the coming weeks. A museum trip for Bella's education. A farmer's market for fresh vegetables. Maybe even a weekend trip to the beach if Tasha could get time off work. The next morning, Tasha called her mother in Atlanta. She'd been putting it off, afraid of the questions, but Nathan was right. Her mother deserved to know the truth. "Baby girl," Dorothy Brooks answered, her warm voice filling Tasha with longing for home. "I was just thinking about you. How are things?" Tasha took a deep breath. "Mama, I need to tell you something. And I need you not to worry because everything's okay now." There was a pause. "What happened?" Tasha told her everything. The job loss, the eviction, the shelter. She heard her mother's sharp intake of breath but pushed forward, explaining about Nathan, about the diner, about the job and the apartment. "You went through all that alone?" Dorothy said, her voice thick with emotion. "Baby, why didn't you call me? I didn't want you to worry. And I didn't want you to feel bad that you couldn't help. I'm your mother. Worrying is my job. But Tasha, this man, this Nathan. He sounds too good to be true. I know how it sounds. But Mama, he's real. He's kind and genuine and he's been nothing but respectful. He's become a good friend to both me and Bella. And you're sure there are no strings attached?" "No strings. He just wanted to help and he did." Dorothy was quiet for a moment. "Well, I'd like to meet this man. Make sure he's treating my baby right. Why don't you come visit? I have my own guest room now. You can stay as long as you want." "I might just do that. I want to see this new life of yours with my own eyes." They talked for another hour, catching up on family news and gossip from Atlanta. When Tasha hung up, she felt lighter. No more secrets, no more hiding. Her mother knew the truth and she was coming to visit. That weekend, Nathan took Tasha and Bella to a children's museum. Bella ran from exhibit to exhibit, climbing through tunnels, playing with water features, building block towers. Nathan chased after her, matching her enthusiasm, lifting her up to see things she couldn't reach. Tasha watched them together, her heart full. Bella had never known her father, had never had a male figure in her life who truly cared. And here was Nathan, this successful, busy man, spending his Saturday playing pretend shopping and coloring with a 5-year-old like it was the best thing he could be doing. In the museum cafe, while Bella colored at their table, Nathan's phone rang. He glanced at it and frowned. "I need to take this work thing. Do you mind?" "Go ahead." He stepped away and Tasha heard bits of his conversation. Something about a merger, about negotiations. When he returned, he looked stressed. "Everything okay?" Tasha asked. "Just business stuff. There's a company trying to buy one of our competitors, and it could affect our market position. I might need to travel next week for some meetings." "That sounds important." "It is." He looked at Bella, then at Tasha. "But you know what? It can wait until Monday to stress about it. Right now, I'm having lunch with 2 beautiful ladies and that's way more important." Bella looked up from her coloring. "Mr. Nathan, are you rich?" Nathan laughed. "Why do you ask, sweetheart?" "Because Tommy at daycare says rich people have lots of money and big houses. You have a really big house." "I guess I do have money, yes." "Does that make you happy?" Nathan looked at Tasha, then back at Bella. "You know what? The money doesn't make me happy. But spending time with you and your mama does. That makes me very happy." Bella nodded, satisfied with this answer, and went back to her coloring. Later that night, after they'd returned home and Bella was asleep, Tasha found herself thinking about Nathan's answer. Money didn't make him happy. After losing everything, after living in a shelter, she understood the sentiment. Money provided security, yes. But happiness came from love, from connection, from the people who mattered. And Nathan mattered. To both her and Bella. He'd become woven into the fabric of their lives, and Tasha couldn't imagine their days without him now. The realization was both thrilling and terrifying. She was falling for him. Maybe she'd already fallen. 3 months after that rainy night in Betty's diner, Bella's 6th birthday approached. Tasha had been planning a small celebration, maybe cake with a few friends from daycare. But Nathan had other ideas. "I want to throw her a Real party," he said one evening. "Something she'll remember." "Nathan, that's sweet, but I can't ask you to do that." "You're not asking. I'm offering. Please, Tasha. Let me do this." She knew she should refuse, should maintain some boundaries, but the joy in Nathan's eyes was impossible to resist. "Okay. But nothing too extravagant." Nathan grinned. "Define extravagant." The party was definitely extravagant. Nathan rented a beautiful community center with an indoor playground. He hired a face painter, a balloon artist, and a magician. There was a dessert table with cupcakes, cookies, and a massive cake shaped like Bella's favorite character from her favorite movie. Tasha had invited Bella's friends from daycare, and Nathan had invited his employees and their children. To Tasha's surprise and delight, her mother Dorothy flew in from Atlanta the day before the party. "Baby girl," Dorothy said, embracing Tasha at the airport. Look at you. You look so good. Happy. I'm happy, Mama. Really happy. Dorothy stayed in the guest room, and Bella was thrilled to have her grandmother visiting. That night, after Bella went to bed, Dorothy and Tasha sat up talking. So this Nathan, Dorothy said. Tell me everything. Tasha did. She told her mother about the job, about the apartment, about how Nathan had gradually become part of their lives. She told her about their growing feelings for each other, about the careful way they were navigating whatever this was between them. And you trust him? Dorothy asked. With my life. With Bella's life. Then that's all that matters. But Tasha, you need to be careful with your heart. You've been through so much. Make sure he's in this for real. He is, Mama. I know he is. The day of the party arrived sunny and perfect. Bella wore a purple dress that Nathan had bought her, and she literally bounced with excitement. Is this really all for me? She kept asking. All for you, baby girl, Tasha assured her. The party was wonderful. Bella's face lit up at every activity, every game, every surprise. She got her face painted like a butterfly. She watched the magician with wide eyes. She played with her friends on the playground equipment, laughing and shrieking with joy. Nathan was everywhere, making sure everything ran smoothly, but also making sure to spend time with Bella. He helped her with the games, applauded her as she played, sat with her while she ate cake. Tasha's co-workers from Parker Technologies came with their families. Grace brought her daughter, who immediately became Bella's new best friend. Timothy arrived with his wife and twin boys. Even Jeremy from HR stopped by with his partner. But the biggest surprise came when Betty from the diner arrived, carrying a special pie she'd made for Bella. Couldn't miss this little one's big day, Betty said, hugging Tasha. Besides, I wanted to see what became of you two. Looks like things worked out pretty good. Better than good, Tasha said, tears in her eyes. Thank you for being so kind to us that night. Just being human, honey. Just like Nathan. Dorothy watched all of this, watched Nathan interact with Bella and Tasha, watched the community that had formed around her daughter. Later she pulled Nathan aside. Mr. Parker, can I have a word? Nathan looked nervous. Of course, Mrs. Brooks. They walked to a quiet corner, and Dorothy studied him with a mother's assessing gaze. My daughter and granddaughter have been through a lot. They deserve stability and kindness and real love. Can you give them that? Yes, ma'am, Nathan said without hesitation. I care deeply for both of them. I want to be part of their lives for as long as they'll have me. This isn't some rich man's hobby? Playing savior? No, ma'am. They saved me as much as I helped them. I was existing but not living. They reminded me what it means to be alive, to care about something beyond work and money. Dorothy nodded slowly. All right then. But if you hurt my baby or my grandbaby, you'll answer to me. CO or not? Nathan smiled. Yes, ma'am. I wouldn't expect anything less. They returned to the party, and Dorothy gave Tasha a subtle nod of approval. Tasha felt relief wash over her. Her mother's blessing mattered. As the party wound down and kids started leaving with their parents, Bella ran up to Nathan and threw her arms around his waist. Thank you, Mr. Nathan. This was the best birthday ever. Nathan crouched down to her level. You're very welcome, Bella. You deserve all the best birthdays. Can I ask you something? Anything. Bella looked at Tasha, then back at Nathan. Are you going to be my daddy? The question hung in the air. Tasha's breath caught. Nathan's eyes widened slightly and he looked at Tasha, seeking guidance. Tasha came over and knelt beside them. Baby, why are you asking that? Because Mr. Nathan acts like a daddy. He plays with me and reads me stories and makes sure we're okay. And he makes you smile, Mama. You smile all the time now. Nathan's eyes were glassy. Bella, I would be honored to be like a daddy to you. If that's okay with you and your mama. Bella hugged him tight. It's okay with me. Tasha felt tears streaming down her face. It's okay with me too. The three of them stayed there, wrapped in an embrace, while the last party decorations fluttered in the breeze and Dorothy watched from across the room, her own eyes wet with happy tears. That evening, after Bella had fallen asleep exhausted from her big day, Nathan and Tasha stood on her balcony again, this place that had become their spot for important conversations. I meant what I said, Nathan told her. I want to be part of your lives. Officially. Completely. Tasha turned to face him. Nathan, are we really doing this? Is this real? It's real. The realest thing I've felt in 3 years. He took her hands in his. I'm in love with you, Tasha. I didn't plan it, didn't expect it, but it's true. I love you and I love Bella and I want us to be a family. Tasha's heart soared. I love you too. I've been afraid to say it, afraid it was too soon or too complicated, but I do. I love you. Nathan cupped her face in his hands and kissed her. It was soft and sweet and full of promise. When they pulled apart, both were smiling. So what now? Tasha asked. Now we take our time. We keep getting to know each other. We let Bella adjust to the idea. And we build something real and lasting. Together. Together, Tasha agreed. Inside, Dorothy had heard everything from the living room. She smiled to herself. Her daughter had found a good man. A kind man. A man who understood that real wealth wasn't measured in bank accounts but in love and family and connection. Sometimes, Dorothy thought, miracles happened in diners on rainy nights. And sometimes they grew into forever. Nathan couldn't stop thinking about Tasha's story. How one job loss had spiraled into homelessness. How a lack of childcare had prevented employment. How the system, despite good intentions, had so many gaps that people fell through constantly. He called a meeting with his leadership team one Monday morning. I want to start a foundation, he announced. The Parker Family Foundation. Its mission will be to help single parents find employment and stable housing. His CFO, Patricia Lane, looked intrigued. That's a wonderful idea. What prompted this? Nathan thought about Tasha and Bella, about Betty's Diner, about the luck of being in the right place at the right time. I met someone who opened my eyes to how difficult things can be for single parents. I want to help change that. Over the next few weeks, Nathan threw himself into planning the foundation. He allocated significant personal funds to get it started. He researched best practices for helping families in need. And he asked Tasha to be his partner in developing the program. You've lived it, he told her. You know what works and what doesn't. I need your insight. They worked together in the evenings after Bella went to bed, drafting policies and procedures. Tasha suggested partnering with existing shelters to identify families ready to transition out. She recommended subsidized childcare as a key component. She insisted on job training and resume workshops, remembering how daunting applications had felt. This is brilliant, Nathan said, looking over their plans. You're brilliant. Tasha felt pride surge through her. She was contributing something meaningful, using her experience to help others. Felt good. Felt right. The foundation launched 3 months later with a modest pilot program. They would help 10 families in the first year. Applications poured in, each one a story similar to Tasha's. Job loss. Eviction. Desperation. Hope. The foundation provided temporary housing, childcare assistance, job training, and connection to employment opportunities. Several of Nathan's business contacts agreed to interview foundation participants for open positions. The first family they helped was Monica Rodriguez and her 3 children. Monica had been living in her car after losing her apartment. She'd been working 2 part-time jobs but couldn't afford rent and childcare. The foundation placed her in an apartment, enrolled her children in a good daycare, and connected her with a full-time position at a local hospital. Within 2 months, Monica was stable and planning for the future. You gave us our lives back, Monica told Tasha at a foundation event. Thank you. Tasha hugged her. Pay it forward when you can. That's all we ask. As word spread about the foundation, media attention followed. A local news station did a feature about Nathan's philanthropic work. The story mentioned his late wife Rebecca and how her passion for helping others had inspired him. But what surprised everyone was the end of the segment when Nathan said, I'm not doing this alone. Tasha Brooks, our foundation co-director, brings invaluable perspective as someone who's overcome similar challenges. She's the heart of this program. Tasha watched the news story from her apartment, tears streaming down her face. Nathan had publicly acknowledged her, given her credit, treated her as an equal partner. That weekend, Dorothy extended her visit by another week. She'd been helping with Bella and getting to know Nathan better. One afternoon, while Nathan took Bella to the park, Dorothy and Tasha had tea together. I like him, Dorothy said simply. He's good to you, good to Bella, and he's using his resources to help people. That's the kind of man you want in your life. I know, Mama. I still can't quite believe this is my life now. Believe it, baby. You deserve every bit of happiness you've found. Dorothy returned to Atlanta the following week, but she video called regularly to talk to Bella and check on Tasha. She'd given her blessing, and that meant everything. Nathan and Tasha's relationship continued to deepen. They went on proper dates, leaving Bella with Grace or Timothy sometimes. They saw movies, tried new restaurants, walked through the city at night talking about everything and nothing. But they also did normal, domestic things. Nathan would come over and they'd cook dinner together while Bella did homework at the kitchen table. They'd watch movies on the couch with Bella between them. Nathan taught Bella how to ride a bike in the park. One evening as they cleaned up after dinner, Nathan turned to Tasha. "Move in with me." Tasha paused, dish towel in hand. "What?" "Move in with me. You and Bella. My penthouse has plenty of space and we're already spending almost every evening together anyway. It makes sense." Tasha's heart raced. It did make sense. But it also felt fast even though they'd been together for months now. "Nathan, I appreciate everything you've done for us. But this apartment, it's the first place that's truly been mine. Does that make sense?" Nathan nodded. "It does. I'm sorry I shouldn't have pushed." "You're not pushing. And maybe one day we will live together. But for now I need this space to be ours. Bella's and mine. Our own place that we built together." "I understand. And I respect that." He kissed her forehead. "There's no rush. We have all the time in the world." But Tasha knew deep down that she was ready for more. She loved Nathan. Bella loved Nathan. They were already a family in every way that mattered. Maybe it was time to make it official. 2 months later, Nathan invited Tasha to dinner at his penthouse. Just the two of them. Grace had offered to watch Bella for the evening, taking her for a sleepover with her daughter. Tasha wore a maroon dress she'd bought specifically for the occasion. When she arrived at Nathan's penthouse, she found candles lit throughout the space and soft music playing. "Wow," she said. "This is beautiful." Nathan wore dark slacks and a crisp blue shirt. "You're beautiful." He'd cooked dinner himself, pasta with a cream sauce that actually turned out well. They ate at his dining table overlooking the city, talking and laughing easily. After dinner, they moved to the couch with glasses of wine. Nathan seemed nervous, which was unusual for him. "Tasha, I need to tell you something," he began. "That sounds serious." "It is. But it's good, I promise." He took her hand. "These past few months with you have been the happiest of my life. You and Bella have given me a reason to look forward to tomorrow. You've reminded me what it means to love and be loved." Tasha felt her pulse quicken. "Nathan, let me finish. I know we said we'd take things slow and we have. But I can't wait anymore. I love you. I'm in love with you. Completely, deeply, absolutely in love with you. I want to build a life with you. I want to wake up next to you every morning and fall asleep beside you every night. I want to be Bella's father in every way that counts. I want us to be a family." Tears streamed down Tasha's face. "I love you too. So much. But Nathan, I need to know something. Anything. How do I know this isn't just gratitude? You saved us when we had nothing. How do I know my feelings are real and not just appreciation for everything you've done?" Nathan cupped her face gently. "Do you think about me when we're apart?" "Yes." "Do you smile when you see a text from me?" "Always." "Does your heart race when I walk into a room?" "Every time." "That's not gratitude, Tasha. That's love. Real, genuine love. And I feel the same way about you." Tasha kissed him then, pouring all her emotion into it. When they pulled apart, both were crying and laughing at the same time. "I was so scared," Tasha admitted. "Scared of my feelings, scared of depending on someone, scared of getting hurt." "I won't hurt you. I promise." "I know. I trust you, Nathan. Completely." They sat wrapped in each other's arms, talking about the future. Where they saw themselves in 5 years, in 10. Nathan wanted more children and Tasha did too. They talked about marriage, about combining their lives fully. "I don't want to rush you," Nathan said. "But know that I'm in this forever. When you're ready, I'll be here." Around midnight, Tasha called Grace to check on Bella. "She's sound asleep," Grace reported. "Having the best time. You two enjoy your evening." Tasha decided to stay the night. They stayed up talking until dawn, sharing dreams and fears and hopes. Nathan told her about his childhood, about building his company from the ground up. Tasha told him about her father who'd passed away when she was young, about raising Bella alone for 5 years. "You're the strongest person I know," Nathan said. "I don't feel strong. I feel lucky. Lucky that I walked into that diner. Lucky that you were there." "I was lucky too," Nathan said. "You saved me, Tasha. From loneliness, from grief, from a life half-lived." As the sun rose over the city, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold, they stood at the window together, Nathan's arms around Tasha from behind. "I want to ask you something," Tasha said. "Go ahead. Move in with us." Nathan turned her around to face him. "What?" "You heard me. Move in with us. I know I said I needed that apartment to be ours, and it is. But it's time to make it bigger. Our family is growing. So move in with us or let us move in here. I don't care where we live as long as we're together." Nathan's smile was brilliant. "Are you sure?" I've never been more sure of anything. They sealed it with a kiss as the city woke up around them. That afternoon, when Tasha picked up Bella from Grace's house, she sat her daughter down for an important conversation. Baby, Mr. Nathan and I have something to tell you. Bella looked between them with wide eyes. What? We're going to all live together. Mr. Nathan is going to move into our apartment with us. How do you feel about that? Bella squealed and jumped up and down. Really? He's going to live with us? Forever? If that's okay with you, Nathan said. Bella threw her arms around him. It's the best thing ever. Does this mean you're my daddy now? Nathan looked at Tasha, who nodded through tears. Yes, sweetheart. If you want me to be. I do. I do want you to be my daddy. The three of them hugged, a tangle of arms and laughter and happy tears. This was their family. Unconventional, unexpected, but absolutely perfect. Nathan started moving his things into Tasha's apartment the following week. They decided to stay there rather than move to his penthouse because Bella was settled and happy in her school and neighborhood. Nathan didn't care where he lived as long as he was with them. But not everyone was happy about their relationship. Richard Foster, a business rival of Nathan's, saw an opportunity to cause problems. He started spreading rumors at industry events that Nathan had lost his edge, that he was making poor decisions because he was distracted by his new family. One afternoon, Patricia Lane came to Nathan's office looking concerned. Nathan, I need to talk to you about something. What's wrong? There's talk. About you and Tasha. Richard Foster is suggesting that she's taking advantage of you, that she's just after your money. Nathan's jaw tightened. That's ridiculous. I know that. Anyone who's seen you two together knows that. But the rumors are spreading and some board members are concerned. Nathan stood up, angry now. Let me be very clear, Patricia. Tasha is the best thing that's happened to me in years. She's smart, capable, and genuine. She was homeless when I met her and look at her now. She's co-director of our foundation, she's raising an incredible daughter, and she's made me believe in happiness again. Anyone who has a problem with that can take it up with me directly. Patricia smiled. I hoped you'd say something like that. For what it's worth, I think she's wonderful too. But you should talk to her about this. She should know what people are saying. Nathan went home that evening determined to shield Tasha from the gossip, but she could tell something was wrong. What's bothering you? She asked as they cooked dinner together. He told her about Richard Foster, about the rumors. Tasha's face paled. They think I'm using you? People who don't know you think that. People who matter, who actually know you, know better. Tasha sank into a chair. Maybe they're right. Maybe I am using you. You've given me everything, Nathan. A job, a home, a life. How is that not using you? Nathan knelt in front of her. You're not using me. You've given me just as much as I've given you. More even. You've given me love, family, purpose. That's not something money can buy. But people will always see me as the woman who was homeless until you rescued her. They'll never see me as your equal. I see you as my equal. Bella sees you as the best mother in the world. The families we've helped through the foundation see you as a hero. What other people think doesn't matter. Tasha wanted to believe him, but the doubt had been planted. Over the next few days she found herself second-guessing everything. Was she really good enough for Nathan? Did she really deserve this life? Making matters worse, Tasha ran into an old acquaintance from the shelter, a man named Kenji Martinez. They'd been friendly during her brief time there and he'd always been kind to Bella. Tasha, is that you? Kenji said, spotting her at the grocery store. Wow, you look great. I heard you moved out of the shelter. That's fantastic. Thanks, Kenji. How are you doing? Still at the shelter looking for work? But hey, that's life, right? He paused. I heard you're with some rich guy now. Nathan Parker? The CEO? Tasha nodded. We're together, yes. Kenji's expression turned skeptical. Be careful, Tasha. Guys like that, they like to play hero. Make themselves feel good by helping people. But when the novelty wears off, they move on to the next project. Nathan's not like that. Maybe not. But you should protect yourself. And Bella. Don't let yourself depend too much on him. The conversation stayed with Tasha, feeding her doubts. That night, after Bella went to bed, she and Nathan had an argument, their first real one. I can't shake the feeling that I'm a burden to you, Tasha said. You're not a burden. You're my partner. But I came with nothing. You've given everything. Stop keeping score, Nathan said, frustrated. That's not how love works. We're building a life together. Yes, I had more resources at the start, but you've brought things to this relationship that are just as valuable. Like what? Tasha challenged. Like showing me how to live again. Like teaching me what really matters. Like being brave enough to accept help when you needed it and strong enough to build yourself back up. You think those things aren't valuable? Tasha was crying now. I'm just scared, Nathan. Scared that one day you'll wake up and realize you made a mistake. That you could do better. Nathan pulled her into his arms. Listen to me. I love you. Not because you're a project or because you need saving. I love you because you're smart and funny and kind. Because you're an amazing mother. Because you make me want to be a better person. Because when I look at you, I see my future and it's beautiful. Tasha clung to him. I love you too. I'm sorry I doubted us. Don't apologize. Just trust me. Trust us. Can you do that? Yes, Tasha whispered. I can do that. They held each other for a long time, and slowly Tasha felt her doubts dissolving. Nathan was right. Love wasn't about scorecards. It was about partnership, trust, and building something together. The next day, Tasha called a meeting at Parker Technologies. She asked Richard Foster to attend, along with the board members who'd expressed concerns. I've heard there are questions about my relationship with Nathan, she said calmly. So let me address them directly. Yes, I was homeless when we met. Yes, Nathan helped me get back on my feet. But I've worked hard for everything I have now. I earn my salary. I contribute to this company. And I love Nathan for who he is, not what he has. If anyone has a problem with that, they can speak to me directly instead of spreading rumors. Richard Foster had the grace to look embarrassed. Mrs. Brooks, I apologize. I was out of line. Yes, you were. But I accept your apology. Now, can we all move forward and focus on building this company and foundation instead of gossip? The board members nodded, suitably chastened. After the meeting, Patricia pulled Tasha aside. That was well done. You've got spine. Tasha smiled. I've survived worse than a few rumors. I'm not going to let anyone make me feel less than I am. Good. Nathan's lucky to have you. I'm lucky to have him too. And I'm not ashamed to say it. That evening, Tasha told Nathan what she'd done. He listened with pride shining in his eyes. You faced them down, he said. I faced them down. And you know what? Felt good. I'm done being scared. I'm done doubting. We're building something real here and I'm going to protect it. Nathan kissed her soundly. That's my girl. From that day forward, the rumors died down. People saw how Nathan and Tasha looked at each other, how Bella thrived with both of them, how the foundation was helping families transform their lives. And they understood that what Nathan and Tasha had was genuine, earned, and absolutely unbreakable. What would you do if people doubted your happiness? Would you fight for your love or let others' opinions shake your confidence? This is the moment when Tasha and Nathan prove that real love can overcome any obstacle. If you're invested in their journey, please subscribe and let me know in the comments what you think about their relationship. Your support means everything. 6 months after Nathan moved in with Tasha and Bella, life had settled into a beautiful rhythm. Nathan would wake up early and make breakfast while Tasha got Bella ready for school. They'd all eat together talking about the day ahead. Then Nathan would drive Bella to school on his way to work, and Tasha would head to the foundation offices. The Parker Family Foundation had grown beyond their wildest dreams. They'd helped 75 families in the first year, and applications kept coming in. Tasha had proven to be a natural leader, connecting with families and understanding exactly what they needed to succeed. One Tuesday evening in October, Nathan asked Tasha if they could go back to Betty's diner for dinner. Just the two of them. Grace happily agreed to watch Bella. Why Betty's? Tasha asked as they walked through the door. You'll see. Betty greeted them with a huge smile. My favorite couple. Come in, come in. She led them to the same booth where they'd first sat together almost a year ago. Tasha slid into the seat, memories flooding back. She remembered how scared she'd been, how desperate. She remembered Nathan's kindness, his immediate willingness to help. This is where it all started, she said softly. This is where my life changed, Nathan agreed. They ordered food, the same meals they'd had that first night. Chicken soup and grilled cheese. As they ate, Nathan took Tasha's hand across the table. Do you remember what you said to me that night? He asked. When you first came in? Tasha thought back. I asked if we could sit for a while. If we could stay. You asked if you could stay. And now I'm asking you the same thing. Nathan slid out of the booth and knelt beside the table, pulling a small box from his pocket. Tasha's hands flew to her mouth. Nathan. Tasha Brooks, you walked into this diner on the worst night of your life and the best night of mine. You've given me love, family, and hope. You've made me believe in second chances. Will you marry me? Will you stay with me forever? Tears streamed down Tasha's face. Yes. Yes, of course, yes. Nathan slipped the ring onto her finger, a beautiful sapphire surrounded by small diamonds. I remembered you said Bella's favorite color is purple, he explained. Tasha laughed through her tears. It's perfect. You're perfect. Betty came over with champagne and pie, beaming. I knew it. From that very first night, I knew you two were meant for each other. They celebrated with Betty, who closed the diner early and sat with them, talking and laughing. She told them stories about other couples she'd seen fall in love over her food, about the magic that could happen when people were open to connection. When they got home, Bella was still awake, too excited by the prospect of a surprise to sleep. When Tasha and Nathan told her they were getting married, she screamed with joy and jumped between them. Does this mean we get to have a wedding? With a pretty dress and cake? Yes, baby. A beautiful wedding. And Mr. Nathan will officially be my daddy? Nathan scooped her up. If you want me to adopt you, to make it legal and official, I absolutely will. You'll be Bella Parker. How does that sound? That sounds perfect. Can I call you Dad instead of Mr. Nathan? Nathan's eyes filled with tears. I would love that more than anything. They started planning the wedding, keeping it small and meaningful. They decided to have it at the community center where they'd thrown Bella's birthday party, the place that had become special to their growing family. Nathan worked with a lawyer to begin Bella's adoption process. He also insisted that Tasha have an equal say in all his financial decisions. He added her name to property titles, gave her full access to accounts. He wanted her to feel secure, to know that everything he had was theirs together. You don't have to do all this, Tasha protested. I want to. We're partners. Equal partners. The foundation continued to grow. They hired more staff, expanded to help more families. Monica Rodriguez, the first family they'd helped, was now thriving. She'd been promoted twice at her hospital job and had saved enough for a down payment on a small house. She volunteered at the foundation on weekends, wanting to give back. Dorothy flew in 2 weeks before the wedding to help with preparations. She'd become close with Nathan through frequent video calls and visits, and she approved of him completely. My baby's getting married, she said, hugging Tasha tight. To a good man who loves you and my grandbaby. I'm so happy for you. The wedding day arrived, sunny and beautiful. Tasha wore a simple but elegant ivory dress. Bella wore purple, of course, as the flower girl. Nathan wore a perfectly tailored dark suit with a blue tie that matched his eyes. The ceremony was held in the same room where Bella's party had been. Betty was there, along with Grace, Timothy, Patricia, Jeremy, and all their friends from work. Monica came with her children. Mrs. Chin from the apartment building attended. Even Kenji showed up, having found a job and moved out of the shelter himself, wanting to celebrate with them. Nathan's business associates came, including Richard Foster, who'd apologized profusely for his earlier behavior and had since become a supporter of the foundation. As Tasha walked down the aisle, she looked at the faces of everyone who'd become part of their journey. This community they'd built, these people who'd supported them and believed in them. And at the end of the aisle stood Nathan, tears streaming down his face as he watched her approach. You're beautiful, he mouthed. The ceremony was simple and heartfelt. They wrote their own vows. Nathan promised to love Tasha through good times and hard times, to be a father to Bella, to build a life based on kindness and hope. Tasha promised to trust him, to build their future together, to never forget where they came from and to always help others the way they'd been helped. When the officiant pronounced them husband and wife, the room erupted in applause. Nathan kissed his bride while Bella cheered and tossed purple flower petals into the air. At the reception, Betty had made all the desserts, including a wedding cake that was almost too beautiful to cut. They danced, laughed, celebrated with their community. Nathan danced with Bella first, spinning her around until she giggled breathlessly. When Nathan and Tasha had their first dance as husband and wife, he whispered in her ear, "Thank you for saying yes that night in the diner. Thank you for giving me a chance. Thank you for seeing us," Tasha whispered back. "For caring. For loving us. Always," Nathan promised. "Forever and always." 3 months after the wedding, the adoption was finalized. Bella Brooks became Bella Parker officially. They celebrated with a small party at home, just the 3 of them and Dorothy, who'd stayed on to help with the transition. Nathan presented Bella with a framed certificate of adoption. "This makes it official," he said. "You're my daughter now, legally and in every way that counts." Bella traced the letters of her new name. "Bella Parker," she read slowly. "I like it. I love it," Tasha said, hugging them both. That night, after Bella and Dorothy had gone to bed, Nathan and Tasha sat on their balcony, looking at the city lights. "Can you believe it's been a year since that night at Betty's?" Tasha asked. Best year of my life, Nathan said. Well, second best. This year will be even better. Why's that? Because I just found out the foundation has funding to help 200 families next year. And because in 7 months, Bella's going to be a big sister. Tasha's hand went to her stomach. How did you know? I just found out today. Nathan grinned. I saw the pregnancy test box in the bathroom trash. Was I not supposed to notice? Tasha laughed. I was going to tell you tonight. I'm pregnant, Nathan. We're having a baby. Nathan gathered her into his arms. We're having a baby. Bella's going to be over the moon. She is. Our family is growing. They sat together in comfortable silence, thinking about the journey that had brought them here. A rainy night. A desperate question. A simple act of kindness that had changed everything. You know what the best part is? Nathan said. We get to do this forever. Wake up together, raise our kids together, help people together, build a life together. Forever sounds perfect, Tasha agreed. And it was perfect. Not because their lives were without challenges or difficulties, but because they faced everything together. They'd learned that kindness creates ripples, that hope is stronger than despair, and that love, real love, can transform everything. The Parker Family Foundation went on to help thousands of families over the years. Bella grew up confident and kind, always remembering where she came from and committed to helping others. The baby, a boy they named Thomas, was born healthy and happy. Dorothy moved to the city to be closer to her expanding family. And every year on the anniversary of that rainy night, Nathan and Tasha took their children to Betty's Diner. They sat in that same booth, ate chicken soup and grilled cheese, and remembered the moment when a simple question changed their lives. My daughter is hungry, Tasha had said. Can we stay a while? And Nathan had answered, stay as long as you need. They were still there, still together, still building a life based on the simple truth that kindness matters, hope endures, and love, when it's real, lasts forever.